Hello again, my name's Gabe Zollner. I posted a video, Aviation is Unforgiving. It's received some interesting comments and I wanted to share a couple with you. And I want to give you my own personal experience with respect to Big Bear Airport in Southern California. The viewer wrote, interesting to listen to, and I appreciate this story, Gabe. One of my best friends from high school piloted a twin-engine plane with 4 passengers aboard en route to Big Bear from an Orange County airport. Some years ago, when one of the engines died shortly after takeoff and the plane flipped and crashed, I was very sad about that for years to come, and it still bothers me a bit. Life is so precious and so short to begin with. I'm glad you don't fly one of those, Gabe. Not to be a killjoy here, but those twin-engine small prop planes have me in question every time I see one. Thanks for the videos. Well, I want to talk a little bit about Big Bear Airport. I made a video and I talked about Catalina being one of the most dangerous airports in the country. Catalina would probably be second. And the reason that is the runway is situated at around 6,500 feet elevation. And there's runway 26 and 8. 8 brings you in over the lake, 26 brings you in over the tree line. And when you come in over the tree line, you have to do one of these. You have to because the tree line is right at there's a road. There's a runway, there's a road, and there's a tree line. So you want to touch down as soon as you can, so you got to come in like that. Coming in over the lake is a piece of cake because you can set up and line up and no issues. The thing that people don't realize with high density airport altitudes is that engines are set up at sea level and they don't perform well at altitude. So what has to happen is you have to lean out the engine to get maximum performance. You have to reduce the amount of air into the engine. Sometimes pilots forget to do that when they do their run-up, and when they start rolling down the runway, if they're taking off on 26, they run out of runway and they go into the lake. If they're taking off on 8, they run into the trees. That's a real problem with density altitude airports. You also have the airport situated beside a mountain, so what happens is, depending on the winds, you can get rotors that come down. I took my daughter and my son-in-law flying. We went up there in an A36 Bonanza, and as we were doing the takeoff roll, the gust of wind tipped the plane over like this. And my daughter started panicking and screaming, and I wasn't so polite when I told her to shut the F up. I'm trying to fly. I kicked the rudder, straightened the plane out, and everything was fine after that. The thing with twins is that a light twin is deceiving, and that is because a light twin won't hold altitude above 5,000 feet. In other words, if you're flying in mountainous terrain in, let's say, a Duchess, which is considered a light twin, if you lose an engine, the other engine will take you to your point of impact. It can't hold altitude above 5,000 feet. And the thing with twins is that if you lose an engine, like my viewer's friends did on takeoff, you have to respond immediately. And you have to feather the dead engine, and you have to push opposite rudder. And what happens sometimes is that they panic and they don't do that, or they feather the wrong engine. If you don't feather the engine that's no longer functioning, and you don't push opposite rudder, the airplane will tortoise, which is what happened to his friend. One of the things that I was taught is the importance of making certain it's dead leg, dead engine. In other words, if you don't have to push the left rudder, your left engine's gone, and you got to push the right rudder. Dead leg, dead engine. You got to ingrain that into your mind. Again, I stopped flying the light twin because it cost me as much to rent that as it did an A36 Bonanza. and A36 Bonanza would trim out close to 180 miles an hour, and the twin around 135. So, and again, the airplane that I was to do my check ride in, it crashed at Palomar Airport, also known as Carlsbad Airport. I guess maybe I was not meant for me to be. If I was able to afford flying a big twin, which I couldn't afford, that would be a whole different story. They still have the same tortoise issue. If you don't know what you're doing, well, you shouldn't be flying. I'm sorry that my viewer lost his friends. It's, as I said, aviation is very exciting, but it's also unforgiving. The pilot was the one that screwed up because he didn't do the right thing. At Orange County Airport, the elevation there is, I think, 38 feet above sea level. It's not very high. So taking off on one engine and having lost an engine wouldn't have been an issue. But if you don't do the right thing, the end result is, again, unforgiving. Thanks for listening.